Welcome back, everyone. In our last session, we learned about nested loops, which unlocks powerful patterns and lets us tackle problems with two or more dimensions of repetition. Today, we will explore several examples of nested loops to understand them in detail. In this example, we will print the multiplication table for the first 5 numbers. To do that, we need two for loops, one outer loop to handle the 10 rows, and a second inner loop to calculate the value of each column in a row. This is the outer loop, which will handle all 10 rows and keep track of the current row for calculating the table values. The inner loop calculates the value for each column in the current row. For example, if the outer loop's current row is 2 and the inner loop's current column is 5, it computes 2 times 5 is equal to 10. Now, the inner loop's console.write method prints the result of the multiplication. Here, I represents the current row and J represents the current column. Finally, we use console.writeLine, which moves the cursor to the next line. When I run the program, the console displays the multiplication table for the first 5 numbers. Here, the loop iterates through one row at a time and then processes all the columns in that row. In this example, we will print the pattern shown on the screen. Notice that we need to print 5 rows, and each row displays a number of stars equal to the row number. Let's write the program now. We'll use an outer loop that moves the cursor to the next line. Then, we need an inner loop whose job is to print a number of stars equal to the current row number. Notice the loop condition here. It ensures the column index is less than or equal to the current row number. Then, we use the console.write method to output a star for each column in the current row. Finally, we move the cursor to the next line using the console.writeLine method. Now, when I run the program, the pattern is displayed on the screen. The program works the same way. The only difference is that the inner loop for each row stops once the number of printed columns equals the current row number, then moves on to the next row. Next, we write a program which lists every minute in a 24-hour clock. To do that, our outer loop will represent each hour of the day, iterating through all 24 hours, while the inner loop prints every minute for the current hour. Then, the inner loop's console.writeLine method outputs each minute for the current hour. Also, notice that both our .toString, D2, and minute.toString, D2, format the numbers with 2 digits, ensuring the time is displayed correctly on the console. Don't worry about it right now. We'll cover string formatting in upcoming lectures. When I run the program, you can see that the minutes for every hour of the day are printed. Nested loops let us handle 2 dimensions of repetition, rows and columns, hours and minutes, or any other combination you can imagine. We'll learn about methods in the next session. Until then, I recommend trying these examples again using while loops. Fire up your IDE and experiment with them. That's a wrap.